Yeah.
Any changes to the agenda? Anybody know about?
Move on. Saturday. Saturday. But move that to actually Boys and Girls Club.
I was gonna make Boys and Girls Club at the top.
Yeah, I agree with that way.
Okay. I did it.
You did it, didn't you?
Call the February 25th, 2025 City Council meeting to order. Remind everybody to silence their cell phones. Leave snuffing no prayers. Thank you.
Would you pray with me, please? Father in heaven, we just come to you tonight. Thank you, praising you for who you are and what you do. We thank you for the rain that we've had recently and for the beautiful weather we've had today. We thank you for your protection, provision, all that you do. I thank you for this council, Lord. I thank you for each member on it and pray that you would lead, guide us, and direct us, that we might make right decisions, good decisions, decisions that would please you as we lead the citizens of this city. In Christ's name I pray, amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I can get through the meeting without falling backwards, I'll be doing good. Also, I'd like to, Miss Shirley, I don't think she's been doing too good, but I think she's on the mend. So if we could just say
Yeah.
say an extra prayer for her. Yeah, I know she's been a rough go over the past week or two.
She had the flu that was going on.
Yeah.
She had flu.
She's had the flu.
Bad when it was going on.
Yeah. Anyway. Roll call, please, man, or whoever's going.
Councilmember Grimes,
Right.
Councilmember Hampton, Councilmember Woodhull,
Here.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Here.
Mayor Ketchum.
Here. Item number 3, approval of items on consent agenda. A, approval to read by title only, resolution 2025-04. Motion.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes. Receiving requests from the general public. Is anyone here to speak on anything not on the agenda? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to item number 5, which is the bids. I think this bid was done last meeting. Okay. All right. Item number 6, I'm gonna move item number 6E to the top, and that is council to discuss the Boys and Girls Club kitchen expansion bid. Council will take any action deemed necessary. So what did we come up with on it?
I think.
Joy Carlton. Yep.
100.
Yeah.
The city supplying
Okay.
the equipment.
What do you want to speak on this? There's several from the Boys and Girls Club here, it looks like. Got some,
My name is Emily Kettering. My address is 25 Route 3 in Perry, Florida. I'm the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club, and kind of as we've gone through this process, I feel like, we might have lost sight a little bit of, what we're trying to do anyway, as the request has come forward. I left all of you some pictures so you could see the space that we're trying to expand. Because, it sounds like it's just a kitchen expansion, but currently, right now, we, like I said, we have a residential oven. We're cooking almost 5,000 meals a month out of this kitchen. Currently, we've been grandfathered in, but, if this was, built today, it wouldn't meet current, fire standards. And, what we're trying to do is make it to where we can, expand the kitchen and, have a commercial oven, have more warmers, because upgrade to the electrical. Right now, the electrical was made for a pavilion. So we really, we're trying to operate, beyond its current capacity. So, I think, Alexis, you want to come forward for a second? Alexis is our cook, so she can kind of tell you a little bit about, what the space is like to work in.
It's really small, and there's two of us that's in the kitchen, and like most of the time, we basically, bumping with each other, me and Roxanne. We, bumping with each other, trying to get everything done, because I cook for, Head Start, she does after school, and it's like really tight.
That's, something, Emily and I talked last night for a little bit. How many meals did y'all start out with?
When we first started, it was about 50 meals a day.
And now it's at 250, 300?
250 or so between all the meals, yeah.
So the amount of meals you're doing is going up 5 times, but the kitchen hasn't. And you're doing it all off the 4 or 5 burner house stove. And,
So it would really make it where we could expand on menu options as well. So we just wanted to kind of give you all context for, you know, when I come forward and talked about it and the bids came forward, like, you didn't have context what for the current situation that we have right now. So I just wanted to provide that for you. Do you have any questions for us?
I know the first thing that got my attention a while back was the electrical. Second thing that got my attention, because I noticed the amount of freezers and the warmer and
Yeah, it gets hot.
all this was going on in there, and like Emily said, the electrical was made for about 3 light bulbs and a couple of plugs. You know, and it's way past that at this point. And I don't know, just I don't know how y'all do what y'all do off of what you're working off of. I really don't. My hat's off to you. I don't think I could pull it off.
It's really these ladies.
Yeah.
It's often that.
I think
But
I
it's,
said them about
That's,
20 times,
yeah,
20 times when I went and visited the Boys and Girls Club, and I was like, oh, in here.
Yeah, and and you know, if we had the commercial oven, it
It
would
would
be
pull
pulling
it.
the heat out, yeah.
that hood would,
It would
Yeah.
pull A lot of it out.
maybe I'd bring up the current fire code and get the electrical where it needs to be.
Currently, we have a 2-compartment sink. The third compartment is like a Tupperware.
Yeah.
So that's how we actually, meet our third compartment, but we don't have space for the third compartment right now.
Yeah, what's the third compartment is is that a health department thing? Okay,
Yeah, you have to wash and, okay, that's why you have to have the third compartment.
they got to go. Okay. Anyway,
I'm looking at number 5 on the screen, and it says that all of that is supplied by the city. Is that included in the price that was quoted to us? So that would be in addition to,
Could see, I believe.
how much that, there's was the commercial oven about 4,000? Give or take.
And we just recently bought one for Lot Ridge, you know.
But I mean, the hood and all that's part of the building, isn't it?
I think that was the specification. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
commercial loop, second thing.
Okay, cause I know those can get pricey.
so we really don't know what the bottom line is.
Did you have all those like that?
Yes,
We have it somewhere.
it's about, maybe $10,000 more, maybe 12.
For all the equipment?
So you're talking about a total of 145,
Probably.
okay, give or take.
I do a little more, I don't know that you. I think it's probably a couple grand by itself.
Mini split,
No, the split's was not considered in the bid. I think,
I think it said the old-
Jerry.
it was like $1,200.
Well, now that says,
John, are you sure that wasn't included, that's not included?
99% sure it's not, but I think in the bid, we said we're paying for all the, so we get the tax savings. Sales tax savings, we said we were paying for all materials, all appliances.
commercial freezer. Wish we had had a copy of that bid.
which one,
Well, we own it,
We own it.
and
Well, I know we own it.
John, quick question. With us owning that building, all the tangibles, they would go, say for instance, we're not gonna say it's gonna happen. But if they sell, if we decide that they wanna leave and the building is ours, everything in there belongs to the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, my guess is we're talking about close to 150 total. And just from experience, I know if an inspector walked in and inspected that, they would shut it down.
Quick, like,
The fire suppression is bad. So I will make the motion that 150 coming from gas, cash carry forward. And I'm giving her the journal entry. Transfer to, where is the building and equipment? What fund is it in?
For Boise Grove Club is in parks.
Well, that we transfer to there. The 150. And then the park would have a transfer in of 150. And as you spend, it'll go to building improvements and equipment. In that fund. That's my motion.
Before we vote on the motion or something.
We have a second on that.
Before we vote, I need to ask. Did we ever have that round table where we were gonna get together and rewrite this contract?
We didn't state a round table like that.
Well, me and Emily talked about it. With that, I prefer for that to be done.
The present contract
Then we,
is, covers it.
the present one has signatures on it?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I hadn't seen the present.
yeah.
Will someone make sure they email that to me, please?
And I guess you know about the last contract.
Yes.
Bill, you said when it was spent, it would go to where? Where's it gonna be charged to? Once it's spent, where is it gonna be charged to?
To the, in the park building improvement
Building
and
improvement,
equipment
parks, building improvement.
park
Okay,
fund building. And, whatever equipment will go to, equipment.
okay, thank you. I second it.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes,
Councilmember Woodball,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes,
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. And and just for the record, you were correct last meeting. I could discuss and vote on this. I checked with ethics.
yeah.
Like there was no reason for me not to participate or vote, so. Anyway.
I'm not gonna take it straight.
Unless you have to. So,
thank y'all
Thank
for
y'all.
coming.
John, do you say you want to move 6A or leave it where it is now?
Go to the.
Agenda item 6C, Bob Kate to provide an update on recent TCDA activities and council to take any action deemed necessary. Mr. Kate?
Time this afternoon. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. Give me the time to use your time wisely. As I give you an update on what TCDA has been doing in the last 6 months. Share with you that I shared with the county commissioners last week, and I want to get right back to the next regular scheduled meeting of the city council and share the same information with you. Because both of you have been equally supportive in our efforts, and both of you deserve the update that I'm about to provide. When I joined the team 6 months ago, I committed that first of all, we would work tirelessly to bring industry to Taylor County. The second, I said to most of you with whom I've met individually, and some of you more than once, that I would never want you to go to bed at night not knowing what I was working on, because this needs to be out where we can share what's going on and understand. So my purpose today is to use about 10 minutes of your time sharing information with you, then take whatever time is needed after that to answer any questions you might have or to get any input you would like to share with me. We have a strong board of directors for TCDA. You would recognize every name on this list. I won't read them to you, but you recognize the background we have there, the experience and the insights that they bring to bear. The board has been extremely supportive of Laura DiBella and I. If you don't know Laura DiBella, Laura's the former Secretary of Commerce for the state of Florida. She was the first woman Secretary of Commerce in history in Florida. And she now works for us half-time. So as Jim Bassett likes to say, we have a big game hunter on our team. Equally important, we just hit one more thought on that. Don't go back. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. you've been very supportive. I've met with, you, Bill, and you said, how can I help you? Are you getting the help you need? Anita, I've reached out to you, but we haven't been able to connect yet. Of course, I've met with you, Ward, on more than one occasion. And again, you and Diane, whenever we're through talking, the last thing you say is, how can I help you? How can I support you? I want to thank you for that. So we have three priorities, and let me just go over them in order. First is support existing industry. We do not need to lose any more industry in Taylor County.
Amen.
So even as we seek out new industry, we need to support our existing industry. I've had to be careful because I share that and then someone immediately thinks, well, are you coloring outside the lines? Are you doing something that's not legal or ethical or it's immoral or no, I'm not. I want to make sure we're clear on that. But you'd be amazed if an agency has 60 days to review a permit, respond. Then with a phone call, sometimes they might review it in 1 week. If you're looking to bring something here that's going to make $1 million payroll and you can bring them in 3 weeks sooner, that's worth money to the city of Perry and to Taylor County. So that's the kind of things we do. We work to make things efficient. We work to build teams. We do not color outside the lines. But at the same time, with that supporting existing industry, my focus today and in sharing with you is really going to be on the recruiting new industry. Because we must recruit new industry to Taylor County. All you have to do is read the headlines of the newspaper for the last 2 months or the last 14 months, and you know exactly where we're at and why this is a priority. And of course, when new industry comes, they have to have a place to come to. It needs to be identified, it needs to be available. So, having said I would not color outside the lines, I do want to share with you what we've done with our local outreach, with our supporting our existing industry. We met with, and I have met with numerous, if they'll answer the phone, I'll come meet with them. That's basically what you can say. I've met with all the largest employers in Taylor County. I've met with small ones too. And no one calls that phone that I don't answer it, that I don't say, what do you need? So I told Dawn Perez that I'm not into the retail side of it. I've helped with retail too. I'm not in the housing side. I've helped with the Grove apartments. If they need help, I try to provide it. We got to understand what the business challenges are, whether they're planning for growth or expansion, and if so, how can we facilitate that? How can we make that happen? How can we get obstacles out of their way? Because we're all in economic development now. You're not thinking that way. We all need to change our thinking. It's not enough for us to just say someone comes to us and says something, we say we can't do this or you can't do that. We need to get a little more of a Chick-fil-A approach. How can I help you be successful? How can I make you succeed? How can I get these obstacles out of your way? We need to be welcoming for helping our existing industry succeed. If you look at the next slide, you'll see an example where that's happening. Because if you haven't been out to Big Top in the last week, it's amazing. Shocking might be a better word. They're doubling their capacity. They're positioning for long-term success and they're positioning here in Taylor County. Because they had initial discussions, do we want 1 plant or 2? Took a look at going to Texas for that second plant, but it's all in Perry. It's all in Taylor County. And it's happening here. That is 1 week old, but they are moving fast. When I took these pictures last week, they'd only been working on that building for 9 days. This is happening and it's happening fast. What you may find as interesting as that though, is when you walk in their office, is the job postings that they have. Who they're looking for, the technicians, the people that travel and build these things around the country, the people who help in marketing and sales. So we think about doubling in size, but they're adding to their employment base as well. I've been working on building teams and it's a team effort. It's not I, me, mine. If you hear me say that, please forgive me because that's not how I think. First of all, I needed to beat the utilities. So we met with Duke Energy. We met with Georgia Florida Railroad. We met with Tri-County Electric. And particularly like in the railroad, I had some background with Duke from my former job here. But you know, some companies want rail, some could care less. For those who don't have rail, but it may be running by them, how do you get a siding? How do you think about that? And what kind of cost benefit do we need to be thinking about for them? We're connecting with our key infrastructure. So Doctors Memorial Hospital, Big Bend Technical College, Taylor County School System. I've had multiple meetings with each of those. You'll see later, we've had 6 site visits to Taylor County of people kicking the tires on industry in Taylor County. Big Bend Technical College is now on my tour route. They do a very impressive job of telling what we're doing, how they will pivot to support industry. And I actually had a company, in here in December, flew in their own plane into the airport, came and spent the day with us, went to Big Bend, and as we were leaving, shaking hands, they said the high point of my trip was Big Bend. That is one impressive place. We hope you're marketing the heck out of that. Also connecting with the community. As I said, I'll speak to anyone that'll let me do it. I've spoken to the Women's Club, the Garden Club, Rotary, Kiwanis clubs, met with the county zoning board, and I told them, don't even have an agenda. I just want to tell you what we're doing and how we're thinking. So when I come here and I need something, I don't want to be that the first time that we've ever met. Taylor County Pastors Group. Busy learning from others. We don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, if you do know me, you know my background's industry and not economic development. Hopefully that industry background's coming to bear. But there's people out here smarter than I am. Some of those are on that list. Diane Head with Career Source, Stacy Bertrand with Duke Energy, Site Readiness, and now they've asked me to serve on the NFEDP board. So I'm rubbing elbows with people who've been doing this a lot longer. Bill.
Go to your first one,
Yes, sir.
utilities outreach. You're leaving out a major one, the city of Perry.
Well, fortunately, I have the city of Perry on our board, so I didn't mention them by name. I apologize, no slight intended, no oversight intended. No, I'll tell you what, John didn't get paid for this compliment, but we have board meetings and John doesn't miss them. And I will tell you, that's a pretty rare attendance record to not miss a board meeting. So where do leads come from? They literally come from everywhere. And there's not one up there that's, for instance, every one of those is real. City and county officials, those of you who have called me, know that I follow up, that I reach out. Florida Commerce calls, Florida Bella gets calls, hurricane relief responders. We had people working at the coast that saw that and said, I might be interested in bringing something here. Some of you have been in those meetings. Local citizens, direct industry contact, site selectors, consultants, it could go on. I realized after I put that together, there were more. Leads get vetted. It's important. And one thing I do want to make sure you know that there is a process here. And the process I want you to know, because we work in sunshine. We share what we can share. We don't share what we can't share, but the process is not secret. We vet leads. So if I get a call, and I get calls, I find out, have you ever done this before? Are we the third time you've done this or the first time? Have you made 50 million pounds of this, or you made a quart? Now you want to come to Taylor County and let's give you a site and fund you and see if maybe you can make it here successfully. We do those things. Does it pass the sniff test? Let me tell you, they don't all pass the sniff test. Florida Commerce also vets. They look at their financial performance. Do they have a board of directors? Are they incorporated? And what's their financial standing? What's their reputation? And they do that. And they also vet. Because, when I first came here, Tim Johns of Florida Commerce said there are really three kinds of people that are come to Taylor County, that are going to come to Taylor County, especially during times of duress, like we're under. So it's charlatans, dreamers, and those who are seriously interested in coming to Taylor County. And he said you have to be equally aware of both charlatans and dreamers, because while their intentions may be different, the results will be the same. You won't be happy. Those that pass this muster get tracked on a project spreadsheet. Laura and I alone have access to that. That's where all the information is tracked. It's where we keep up with everything, their investment, their employment, the number and type of projects, the average wage. This is how we keep up with the projects. We sign confidentiality agreements. Now we do that through Florida Commerce. So Florida Commerce is kind of our shelter under which we hide. That's not the right phrase, but under which we shelter. So Florida Commerce and the company sign a Florida confidentiality agreement, and TCDA falls under the Commerce. So we don't talk company names. I won't tell you names or social security numbers or any more than that. What I will tell you is that I sanitize the spreadsheet in the next slide. Is that sanitized spreadsheet? These are active projects in the pipeline today. So they all got a project name, no identifying information. They have an industry type, but nothing that you can take further than that. And the investment, if we know it, and the employment that they have shared with us. So you can see there's nothing that should be foreign to Taylor County. Light industry, munitions and defense, wood manufacturing, heavy industry. That's the categories. That's where we are. That's what we have. It ranges from a low of what? 15 million up to a high of 2.5 billion potential investment. You see the employment ranging from 15 to 700. But these are in the pipeline. We also have to have sites available. And we do. If you're familiar with the Grants Legacy site, it's in the city of Perry. You approved the zoning that was needed. Made that happen. Thank you very much. We have the city of Perry property, which is in the county. So if you ever want to get your tongue tangled on that one. And that one has just been selected by Duke Energy for their site readiness for 2025. There were only 2 properties in the state approved by Duke Energy for site selection readiness assessment. And that was this one and one other one. I'm just gonna have to silence my phone here. Please excuse me. Sorry. So that starts in April. We'll go through that readiness assessment. So it's not like we're showing it. I've shown it twice in the last several weeks to a prospective client, a prospective company. But, you know, working on getting all those things done that you know we got done on Amy Jackson's property. Also, I have, you know, when I first got here and I learned to use the tax map, then I learned I really didn't know how to use the tax map. It was in and out and back and forth and over and left and right. So I really want to give an appreciation to Mitch Stevens and David Goodman, who worked with me. Shauna kind of authorized and empowered them to do that. I have a master spreadsheet now of every property in Taylor County. I can sort it. I can tell you how far it is from the airport, tell you how many acres is on it. Someone comes and says, I want to be 3 miles from the airport, or 40 acres or more, or 8 acres or less. I can sort all that and come up with those, share those. We still have the TCDA site options program. With Four Rivers more than once, they still have the 2 major tracts, the 3,400 acre tract and the 3,000 acre tract, that the land use has been designated for business development, which is the industrial land use category. And they're still committed to do that as appropriate. So we bring contacts to them that need that kind of land. Just a quick update on the GP Foley site. You know, keep talking about, is it available? When will it be available? You know, if anyone can tell me what Georgia Pacific's thinking, you're a better person than I am, and I worked there for many years. But they're not, it's not a bad thing. What they're doing is they've really actually started the clearing process. So after talking about it for a year, they finished all the asbestos assessment, and the actual demolition starts April 1st. So at that point, we can then start to look at, are we a year and a half out? That'll be a brownfield site. And who might be interested in that. Well, I tell you, they're interested all the time. I spent an hour and a half on the phone yesterday with a company that wants that site. But that site's not ready today. So we got to get our minds on what sites are available. What can we do now? We're not in a waiting game for a year and a half to 2 years from now before the site becomes available. I covered, you know, kind of the things that I want to just kind of in summary here. Well over 20 projects. Lots of projects don't make the list because the phone call doesn't pass muster, so why spend the time giving them a code name and then saying it didn't make any sense? So lots of projects. Over 20 made the list, 11 remain active. We've had 6 site visits to Taylor County. Just to give you a sense of those that didn't make it, I mentioned the vetting process. In one case, I know for certain they selected Texas and not us. And another one, the project they were working on, they had to get it all worked up, then present it to their board. It didn't get approved. And another one, when they plugged in the hurricane risk factor into their mathematical equation, Taylor County didn't pass muster and they went somewhere else. Again, I just emphasize this is nothing here is foreign to Taylor County. The pulp industry was heavy industry, light industry, wood manufacturing, munitions, defense. Those are things we're all already competent at. We can do. Next slide, please. So clearly no ribbon cuttings yet. And I don't, there's no teasing this. It's way too serious for that. This is a marathon. If anything, it's a marathon crossed with a hurdle race. If you ever watch the 100-meter hurdles in the Olympics, you jump over one. Guess what the next thing is? You got to jump over another one. We do that every day and every week. And you've got to get through all of them to get to the end. but there's plenty of interest in Taylor County. I would want you to know if, I sit in meetings, I've said in this meeting where someone irate, and I give, and we believe in freedom of the press, freedom of speech. But you'll hear, nobody cares about Taylor County. Y'all don't care about Taylor County. Nobody. People care about Taylor County. We are a tremendous amount of interest in Taylor County. We're getting lots of support. Get it from the Board of Commerce. They specifically pay attention to what's happening in Taylor County, who's coming to Taylor County. They bring us contacts. So it's really, it's almost gratifying sometimes to see that support, but we still got to get to the point where we bring industry to Taylor County. So if I was giving us a score today, I'd give us an A for effort and an F for results. But I would remind you, the race is not to the faint of heart. We're in this for the long haul. I tell people sometimes I feel like I'm living in the parable of the sower. Won't go get religious on you here, but if you've ever heard the parable of the sower, some seed fell on good soil, some in rocky soil, some in briar thickets. What I do every day is sow seed. And I can't be responsible always for where it landed, but I can keep sowing the seed, and that's my commitment to you. And as we would close, I would just say, what questions do you have, or what counsel would you give, any input? I can't tell you, I shared with county commissioners, I had a lady behind me kept wanting to know, well, I want to know what that industry is that's doing munitions. And I'm not going to tell you, you can ask me 100 times and I'm still not going to tell you. So don't ask those questions. But is there something you wish I'd covered I didn't, or something you don't know that I'm working on you think I should?
Well, one thing you brought up, about the, we've had so much natural and financial devastation. We are ripe for. Sure. Exactly. People to come in here and, take advantage of us. And I'm glad to know that you can, filter a lot of those out. In the beginning, I mean, you've been at this a long time in the business world. You feel who is and isn't. I mean, it's,
I just reiterate, I put my best foot forward, but when we ever get more serious, there'll be times when you'll be sitting across the table from these people.
Sure.
It won't just be, a lot of cake breaks coming to Taylor County or to the city of Perry. Right now, that's what my job is and that's what I do, but there'll be a time when everybody gets a chance to go, does this make walking around sense?
he's got to find that balance between who is and who is not, and know who can't be too careful either.
I don't tell
Yeah.
people more stories, but when you call them and they tell you they've got 3 mills running, you say, good, my board will send me to any of them. Where can I go to? And I'll go this week. And they start hemming and hawing and
Yeah.
all of a sudden it doesn't feel quite so good.
I,
Any other questions or comments?
I too appreciate your vetting these companies that might want to come here. Taylor County has a history of being suckered in so many times, and we paid the price for it. And so I appreciate your working hard to keep that from happening this time.
Other questions? Thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pope. All right, agenda item 6D. Tammy Pridgeon to discuss Super Puff semi trucks and council to take any actions necessary. Okay. Table that. The 6D on the back.
Okay,
Yes.
she's not here.
Yeah. Talked to somebody one night that, I think there's some issues with the trucks going down residential roads and pulling wires loose and that sort of thing. So. All right, so we're gonna go back to agenda item 6A, Mary Gavin and Rachel Howard to discuss continuing engineering RFQ process, and the council will take any action deemed necessary.
They were making that bid in Arkansas. I think we go ahead and go through it. I don't know if y'all know, there's 4 main engineers, it's the point of contact in the city of Perry, have all left. Mike McDonald, Shaquille left about 1.5 years ago, and within the past month, Amir left, JJ left, and Doug Brown, last day was past Friday. We've been needing to do it anyway. I think our contract for continuing engineering is from 17 or 18. That's always flagged or applying on these grants and things like that. So we need to go through this process and get some qualified engineers, unfortunately to it now. I'd like to get at least 2, maybe 3, if we get some good qualified engineers that respond to our RFP, RFQ. Y'all less than I'm send out the RFQ. ASAP.
I was looking at the RFQ, I understand that, but what I don't understand is, and I understand the evaluation, where the, other comes in,
It's the other.
yeah. I don't see it. I got it. It's stapled, request for engineering proposal. Yeah, what is it?
Y'all give me a blessing and move forward. That's just a template somebody had made. I think it came from USDA.
So what you're telling me is these are basically the same.
I have not looked.
You can. Right now. We just follow the statute and we can advertise, request for qualifications. And then figure the rest out once this comes in. But, the one thing I like about this example, do not insert pictures, photographs, graphics, resumes, and data not specifically requested. If you remember those that we've recently had, they got all kinds of stuff in there that mean nothing to us. And we just want the hard, cold facts. So I'll make a motion that we, advertise request for qualifications. Now, one thing that, you need to do is go through a list and contact them directly. So we can get more involvement in it.
We'll do that.
That's my motion.
No motion and a second,
Second, sorry. Councilmember Grimes.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes,
Mayor Ketchum.
yes.
Mayor Gavin and Circal said they would do the ranking scores, follow up with some of their references and things like that. Bring that back to us if we want to use that,
Okay.
get a third party to do it. There's some trouble with it.
Yes. I still don't understand.
Agenda item 6B still,
They don't have the no impact study done yet.
Okay. so we'll stay with this. Done. Agenda item 6F. Resolution 2025-04. Budget amendment. Pay increase for Class C wastewater license. A resolution of the City Council amending the budget of the City Council of Perry, Florida for the fiscal year October 1, 2024 through September 30, 2025.
That is Class C license on February 12th, I believe.
Motion.
approved.
Councilmember Grimes.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes,
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes. Agenda item 6G, council to discuss updates to the purchasing manual and council to take any action deemed necessary.
So the majority of what I updated in here was just, policies and how we're doing things differently with the new financial system rather than everything being on written paper. And then I added the capital asset policy that you all asked me to put in there. The only other thing that I need input on is the bid, the quotation amounts. We were trying to increase them because they hadn't been increased. I think 1997, that was when it said, was on the date of the purchasing manual, so. I took the dollar amount in 1997 and put it in today's money, and that's how I came up with the amount. We would have to do it by an ordinance from what I've researched, but I wanted to at least put something together and then I can update the numbers if y'all want me to. It's on page 13, like the bids and quotes. I was wanting it to be the formal bids, purchases exceeding $10,000. I think that the county's is like $35,000, so ours is way lower still, but right now it's at 5. And then requirements for purchases of 5,000 up to and including 10 would be verbal or written quotes. And then requirements for purchases of less than 5 would just be how we normally do it in the purchase order system. And as long as the superintendent approves.
Are you gonna put it where you have 3 solid quotes or 3 attempted quotes? You know why I'm asking that.
Intended, because sometimes you can't
Can't
get, yeah.
Exactly.
Intended,
Sometimes you gotta beg just to get one.
yeah.
Yes.
And then I did put in the capital asset how there's certain things that we will still tag, even if it's less than $5,000, like guns, radios, anything requested by departments. And that there's a reason that someone might want it, even though it's less than $5,000.
I like on page 15 that you got that the department must check the availability of funds prior to requesting. And then you also check the availability.
Yeah, right now in our system, they're not able to over request an account without me or John or somebody letting them. And then at that point, we'll move money. There are some that's in there right now that have some negative numbers, but their bottom line is still okay. So we haven't moved stuff around yet. And everything they've had a reason as to why it's over. Okay. But
Is that new purchasing system similar in nature to Penimation? Or is it Penimation? I don't know.
no, it's Edmunds Beltec, but it is,
Similar
there's
in
some
nature.
differences, but
You can pull the accounts and the line items and see what's going on. If you have the magic password.
yeah.
Yeah, you got that.
Like I have it where they can only pull up their department.
Good.
It ain't another.
So let me get this straight on my head. The department head or whoever makes a request through the machine, through the
Yes, so
software.
there's certain, it doesn't have to be department head, there could be certain people under the department head that they've given permission to.
Authorized.
They can do a purchase requisition, and then at that point, if it's not the department head that entered it, they would then move it into what we call first approval on the computer. And then Christie, the purchasing agent, would move it into second approval as long as she thinks it all looks fine. And then I move it into third approval, and then at that point, a purchase order is generated. So we are doing it on the front end, whereas used to, the department head signed it and purchasing agent signed it. The finance director didn't see it until after it was already bought,
Right.
typically, unless it was capital outlay, and then.
That's good that you're seeing it before. Yeah, I like that. Good job.
On the good part too, it all happens instantly.
Page 4.
What?
4.
Four.
Page 4.
You're going way back.
Second paragraph.
Anything on this?
City manager and his staff.
That's how it originally was.
She just following what was on their road.
Because y'all can see where I changed stuff, and it-
Back then, it was his.
Yeah, you probably right.
You probably,
You probably-
you probably the one wrote it.
Well, good, we need to fix that.
What is-
Quick.
Change his to there.
Yeah.
well, John is a him.
They need more.
Day after something.
I'll say that. If that's all you got to around. I'm proud of it.
Are y'all okay with the amounts? For us to move
Oh,
forward
yeah,
with those?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's
man,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll get an ordinance drafted and all so that we can actually update, sorry.
We need a motion on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, cause it say action.
We did, so we're showing policy.
All right, motion.
Second,
Councilmember Grimes,
yes.
Councilmember Woodball,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes. Agenda item 6H, council to discuss entering into a memorandum of understanding, MOU, with the Department of Veterans Affairs Police, establishing a working relationship with Perry Police Department. And council to take any action deemed necessary.
I didn't get one.
Yes, sir.
Veterans,
No, not one.
Not the one from the bed. No. We didn't get that one.
I've seen that.
It was, yeah, she put it off the wrong one, I guess.
I included it, what, 2 weeks ago.
Put it off the whole thing.
That's totally different.
Yeah, this one here is
So,
different.
We blame Amy. She's not-
so this agreement is an extension of one that's already in place. For us to assist the VA Police Department.
Yeah.
At the VA clinic here, if they don't have a police officer available, until they can get there. This is what the agreement is, and it's been in place, it's just not for renewal.
Is that what I've seen that
Yeah.
Explorer or what it,
Yeah, there is a VA Police Department.
At the
that covers
clinic.
VA clinics and hospitals.
I got you.
The agreement also allows us to use them as a resource for information if we need to find somebody,
Okay,
which we've used before in investigations where we couldn't find next of kin of a veteran to assist them medically. They were able to do that for us. So it's a two-way agreement. Benefits us as well.
You still got local.
Yes, yeah, we did. If we didn't have one locally, then they wouldn't be asking for it.
I gotcha. Dumb me.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
yeah, I saw that vehicle today and I see it every now and then. I always meant to ask, but never
Yeah.
thought more of
They do
it.
make rounds.
Yeah,
And the biggest thing is if something happens that is a confrontation, we can get there and handle it, and get it
Sure.
stabilized on them, because it's federal property
Right.
until they can arrive. We will be looking for a motion to allow. them to
Yeah, we
sign
gotta
that
do
agreement.
action on that. Motion.
Second.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes,
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes.
I did have a question on this. On the liability and responsibility.
Of the, which one?
You don't have that one.
What?
You have the 287G Homeland
Yes.
Security Agreement. That was for your information only.
Mhm.
I'm waiting on an analysis from the attorney,
Okay,
from the Police Chiefs Association to determine some guidelines for us
okay,
before, but that was just your information to be aware that it may be coming.
that you're
soon.
working on it. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
Only thing is, I would, suggest that the mayor's signature also be like it kind of official with
That's the way that it's written by Homeland Security and federal government.
the.
That's the one that they sent for us to consider. I think if we have it documented in minutes or through a resolution for me to sign, we would be okay with that. But that's, like I said, I'm waiting on analysis on that one.
Okay.
And we did meet with somebody from that group a
Mhm.
couple weeks ago, and it's, yeah, we can get more later. We'll wait till my time.
Okay,
I won't hold
okay.
it. We'll get my time.
All right, agenda item 6I, 6J. Council to appoint one citizen, serve on the Perry Police Pension Board, Board of Trustees, and the Fire Pension Board of Trustees. Got anybody yet? Anyone?
Nancy, which one you gonna?
Oh, Miss Nancy.
I didn't realize these were, available, right?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
John.
Thank you.
Mr. Dents, you wanna do one? Nope. It pays pretty good. So I heard. All right, thank y'all. Agenda item 6K, approval of minutes amended from the February 11th, 2025 regular session. Any corrections or comments on them?
What was the amendment was?
Ma'am?
Second.
What was the amendment? Said as
Question.
amended, what was?
It said approval of minutes amended February 11th, 2025 regular session. Wasn't amended?
Yeah, there was some word or something y'all wanna change.
Was his in there or something?
I don't remember, it was a word or something that, I can't even remember that.
I don't want that for a while. I kind of left out.
What?
2 weeks, so I don't know if I wrote it. from there.
Anyway, motion,
Real motion.
bill motion.
Second.
But Ms. Benega seconded already.
Okay.
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes. Okay, city manager, Mr. Hart.
They appropriation request were put in. Only 5 of them are showing up right now. I don't know why. He said there's something loop with the system, but there's 3 more that should show up. There is a County Days networking reception, March 19th, from 6 to 8 at Bill Campbell Stadium. Since we're having these requests in, I think it's important for one of us to be there. Hope it's not me. Hope it's board.
Maybe it's all of us.
That'd be good. But it's,
And when is this?
35. But you have to register by Friday.
How do you, have you got an email or you can send us?
Let me know when I get you registered.
Oh, hold on a minute. Make sure I'm not gonna be out of the country or something.
35.
Is it only 50 if we do 2 days of the quarterly?
Why do I have that on Wednesday? Yeah, I know better.
Oh, rural county it is, okay.
You're fine. I don't want to interrupt other than since I'm going. It's 35 to go the first day for this 2-hour reception. Following day is the booth. Don Perez has paid me $750 for Taylor County to have a booth.
Oh,
And so we'll be staffing that booth during certain hours. People will be coming by, talking, seeing what we have to tell. And I'll be there, Dawn will be there. I believe Amy Jackson's coming. I don't have a master list. I just know who I've talked to. So if you can come, that's great because it just makes Taylor County more of that team and cohesion and all. But if you can't come, don't think we won't be represented.
When is it?
Okay, so March 19th. 6 to 8 at Doug Campbell, where did any specific in the skyboxes or
It's, I can't remember where it was.
one of these club things? Yeah, Champions Club or something. They'll probably have signs. Doug Campbell. Stadium, hey, it popped right up.
I'll excuse my absence. I'll be out of town that week.
Yeah, me too, I'll be in Tallahassee. Go anywhere fun?
Hmm?
Go anywhere fun?
Well, I gotta take the babies some spring break.
Oh. Yep, time's up. Okay,
March 6th, I don't know if it's FEMA or who's, well, actually it's HUD. It's having a meeting at the Women's Club at 5 o'clock. Discuss, I think most of the HMGP funding. Taylor County's allocated 31.8 million, which the city will get part of that if we apply for some of the HMGP grants. That was my next question. A while back, I asked for a grant writer administrator. Y'all told me no, that we could do it on a contract basis. I was hoping to put an RFQ out for some type of grant administration firm to see what we get back. I think it's time where we got more grants we can handle right now. If we start applying for a portion of this 31.8 million, we won't be able to handle it. So let me put the filler out there and see what kind of feedback we get. What somebody's willing to do for us.
Would they monitor?
Mhm.
Cause
I can
you
email.
need it. I agree with that. I felt like you
They
needed
do
it all.
provide us words and
Right.
all of these grants that we have different reporting dates and different things that we need to submit, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's very confusing.
Yeah, you lose money.
Yep.
And if we don't wanna not handle the things that we're given right now well, and
Right.
then later on have issues getting more, we wanna make sure that we're doing everything correctly.
I'm in favor of it.
well, you mess up one little thing and they want the grant back, and it's like.
If you want to look like
Yeah.
Commerce, we missed the first quarterly report. I think we had to do a quarterly report.
Hmm.
And, what they call it, minority business and something else report. What percentage of your project was done by a minority business? You gotta do that every quarter.
I've heard some you gotta do like some conference call every 2 weeks. It just depends on the grant. You know, what the requirements are. Some of them are easy, some of them are not so easy. Anyway,
That's it, everybody with Friday.
this Friday, yeah, okay. No yet. Ms. Oak,
Okay, I'll get to that. I was gonna make you abreast of some legal things happening, just follow up to make sure that, we are staying up to date. In the, City versus Sellers case regarding, the last remaining detail besides the last payment, which is due March first, is the fence that was supposed to go around the property, if you all remember. And in November, I reported that Mr. Sellers had a setback due to some disability with his back. He has the money now to do the fence, and the people who did the surveying, Delta, they're putting down markers, and apparently putting down markers is an additional $1,000. And so that is supposed to be done. The attorney Black believes that the fence could be completed by the end of April, but it was supposed to be completed, as I shared in November, sometime last year. And they were asking for, leniency and not to be considered a breach of contract. And I also reminded them, as they know, the exchange of deeds and their name going on, none of that's done until all of their provisions are completed. But I just wanted to continue to make the council aware, the payment March first I understand they will have that, completed. And they believe by April, they'll have the fence around that property. Attorney Black wants me to note once again, that they are still having challenges with the next door, I don't like to call it minutes, but the growth of the people hanging out behind Munchies continues to be a problem as it encroaches upon where they live, and they don't want to be responsible for the nuisance that continues to grow. And unfortunately, even this weekend, I believe that was the scene of a homicide, or at least the death of someone. And so the attorney was asking, has there been any further code enforcement action against or in hope to curtail the continuing problem of a lot of people hanging out there? And really behind Munchies, you can drive by anytime and see what looks like people getting high or maybe in the process of being intoxicated. But as far as their responsibility, that it is moving along, and I think they're making good faith efforts to make us aware if there's any challenges or delay. But hopefully by April, at least the fence aspect and completing what they said that they would do will be completed. And I want to make you all aware of that. Also, a case that I wasn't really brought in on as much, but apparently during the cleanup regarding one of the hurricanes, I guess a contractor or someone was charged with failure to follow excavation practices in Thomas Zone. Stephen George, it wasn't cleanup, well, it's excavation.
Excavation for the new apartment complex.
Oh, okay, so it had nothing,
They had a gas line.
that was breached.
Yes.
Well, the arraignment for that is March 4th at 8:30 AM in front of Judge Blue, 3rd floor. Okay, so it was doing a construction situation. That's March 4th, that's coming up as well. And I realized when you were talking, especially with Joe and Chair, that I was talking about Florida legislation or Florida Legislative Action Day. I guess everyone's getting in their meetings. It's more expensive, so I don't even know if I want to announce it, but Florida Legislative Action Days, sponsored by Florida League of Cities, is gonna be March 24th through the 25th. Again, their goal is to connect city officials with different legislators, and they're having on Tuesday at the Doak Campbell Stadium, a dinner at 5:30. That comes with a price of $50. So, but that's also, happening in the month of March as a legislative session is opening. So anytime FLC does something, if I can, I try to just let you all know in case you're interested. So hopefully, whether it's during the rural day or one of these things that maybe, maybe even in coordination with our lobbyists, that someone could come up there and also be a face to Perry, City Council. I think it is a good idea. And John would do a great job doing it, but I think any of the council members would. So that's all I have for now. I was just gonna give you updates as to those cases.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Carly? Jamie?
We did talk about earlier, it's called the 287G program for immigration enforcement. This is not a new program, it's been in place since 1996. What it is, local law enforcement can enter in a memorandum of agreement to the Immigration and Customs, which is Homeland Security, to help and assist immigration and customs enforcement of people here that are here illegally. And it's focusing on those that have already been deported, that have returned, or ones that have the deportation order in place that have not left. It would allow us to do the paperwork and be deputized as federal agents to handle that immigration specific function only. In the last month and a half, there's been 700,000 ICE detainers or deportation orders entered. Of about 1.4 million people that have been identified here illegally in the US. To serve a civil immigration warrant, you have to be a removal officer or be part of a 287G program and be trained on how to do that. The jail, all jails in Florida have signed the agreement with the sheriff's offices to start for their booking part of the procedure. Now, local agencies are being asked to follow up and assist moving forward. That we wouldn't be deputized one day and start doing it that night. There's training involved. Not everybody would be involved in this. It would be a select few people through what's called task force officer programs. That's not foreign to us. We already participate with the federal government, Department of Justice, and other task force officer programs currently. That's the U.S. Marshal Service, DEA, and ATF. We're already doing it with them for specific crimes that impact us here locally. And it's assets and resources that we can bring to bear whenever we need them. And it's to be no different than what we're doing now. There's a big emphasis and push towards drug trafficking, human trafficking in this immigration to identify these people that are being held here against their will or brought here for other illegal activity. If we charge someone with a new law violation, a Florida law violation, and they have an ICE detainer, it's handled totally different. This is we happen across someone that has a deportation order, or for some reason is being sought to be detained. We can do that on that civil side without a new law violation. So there are some provisions in there that they won't pay us overtime to do this. And that's fine. It's no big deal. It's not like we're gonna be sending out waves of people searching for people around town. We're not going to churches. We're not going to daycare. We're not going to pulling people out of
School.
anywhere, schools. This is if we run across them in our normal daily activities and functions. This is my understanding of it from what I was briefed on. We met with the supervisor for HSI for our region 2 weeks ago. This was outlined to me by him. What I read on the agreements, what I've seen from the Police Chiefs Association, it's all headed exactly the way I explained it, and I don't expect it to change. We're just waiting on an actual analysis by the attorneys that are assisting the Florida Police Chiefs, the Florida Sheriffs on those agreements right now. There's nothing that's out of the way. It's all an established program. It's nothing new. This is probably something we should have been doing the last 4 years anyway. Who knows who's here illegally for nefarious reasons to harm U.S. citizens. And that's another emphasis of that is finding that activity.
Do you have some officers tentatively in mind to be trained
We've got a couple that we could do that with, yeah.
that would be available, would have time?
And this is in addition to duties, not the
Right.
only duty. So
Yeah.
that would be something additional they would be doing
Right.
in their normal activities. It just gives us another tool to be able to use to solve a problem.
Right. You have any idea how many are in this county or in the city?
No, we don't. We don't know. I don't think anybody knows how many here, with detainers or deportation orders. I don't think anybody knows. We know that the number nationwide is 700,000 people they're looking for right now.
Yeah.
And these are the worst people out there.
But they've already been,
No, they're out
not,
there.
oh,
So we
they're,
can stop somebody and run their name and we get an alert from dispatch saying that they have a detainer that's entered into the National Crime Center information computer system. How do we handle that? You know, unless we have people that have been trained, all we can do is call ICE and sit with them for hours until they might show up. And then, or they may call back after a couple hours, and say, hey, just get them enough information, we'll try to catch you later. And that's happened to us in the past.
well, it's a mammoth job
Yes, it is.
because we waited a long time to address
It
it.
is
but-
huge. And I expect, there will be an emphasis to push this forward soon as we get that bill analysis, the MOU analysis done. But all the sheriffs have already signed the jail side of the agreement, and they're getting ready to.
Good.
And, unless you have questions.
I do think it's helpful, like, when you and I spoke earlier today, to understand that it is in their normal, is if they come across it in their normal actions as officers. So there's no expectations that they're gonna be running down people who look like they may not be American citizens,
Gotcha.
asking, you know, they're not turning into ICE. That's not their job. And like you said, it's always been available prior to this. But some of the legislation that looks like it's gonna pass may end up taking it out of a lot of local units, decision-making anyway, so.
The MOU would allow us to use resources they already have in place now. There's information centers we call them within Homeland Security and Customs to help us identify people, give us support over the phone and to tell us where to call next, who calls needed for. And that would allow us access to that with this agreement.
Good.
The only thing, and I think we did speak about this earlier, if we do have a task force officer and they have identified people in our area that need to be picked up for detainers, that task force officer will participate with them in rounding up those folks. And now that's when we would be going and looking for them specifically.
Yeah.
But it's a part of that function that we should be doing anyway if there's somebody's here illegally.
Okay. Thank you.
RB.
Really, the only thing I got is, we got our new Cascade system that y'all approved, May 5, got it delivered and installed, up and running. That's what fills our air bottles up.
Oh, okay.
It's on right now.
Good deal.
I really don't have anything else unless y'all got any questions.
Did you get your truck back?
Engine, yes, we finally, the brush truck, we finally got it back. Right after we got the brush truck back, the engine went down, so it is back up going now. Right now, we got all three of ours is running at this time.
Okay. Yay.
Very good. Sometimes that can be a trick, having everything running all at once.
Yeah, miracles happen.
They do.
You still making progress on the hydrants?
As far as blowing the hydrants, all we've done with that, the city, or Andrew and them they repairing one tonight, replacing one tonight.
We're gonna be changing the one at Hardy's tonight. at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
If anybody wishes to come.
So you just help if it needs you. You just
If
help.
they
if
need
it
help,
needs
yes, we go
Yeah.
help, or we'll go help if they need anything.
you. Okay, good.
I have a coffee at Hardy.
I'm
not leaving till it's done.
Danielle. Andrew.
You know what we're doing tonight. And if you, may have noticed, the water tower has been completed, the logo is up and all, and repainted.
Where we're at?
The water tower itself. So, the new logos are on it. I've had some complaints that the logo lettering is a little small, but aside from that, it's fresh, clean, and
There's evidence of rust on.
I'll tell my sister,
Thank you, guys.
when she was here visiting from Tennessee, that was the one thing that she noticed, that the water tower needed painting. I'll let her know.
It is done.
Great.
So, miss you being over there, son.
I had some pictures I sent John, I want to show you a project we just recently got finished with. Last week, we actually used some new city equipment we got a concrete mixer that helped us out a lot during that project. We're gonna start, we've got a few in the pipeline, we're gonna start, so I'll try to let Danielle know when the streets will be closed. We've got to reroute some pipe at Glen Street Lift Station to get ready to replace the piping and pumps in it, because it's dilapidated. It could give away any day. And we really can't enter it until we reroute. There's another lift station that dumps directly into it. We have to reroute it into Fourth Main that leads out of Glen Street. Once we do that, we can start repairs. We've got a repair on Bacon Street that may take several days due to the depth of the main, and the road is caving in. We think it's a storm drain pipe, but it also lines up with the sewer main. So, the problem will be the depth. The storm drain pipe itself is full of dirt, so we're probably gonna have to replace that completely. And there are quite a few phone cables and gas lines in the way. So we will probably close the road, cut the road. We'll do a lot of like exploratory digging, spot the surfaces, so it may be down for a couple days. I don't see it really being a problem where it's at, blocking the traffic, and we'll try to let everybody know ahead of time. And then also, we'll do it at night, and there's a manhole at Center and Green that's covered up, that we'll have to raise, and I'm guessing probably after 6:30 or 7, the traffic kind of dies down. That probably when we close that intersection to do that. I don't know how long that would take, but that's just stuff. As the crew has got trained, and we've got a few more pieces of equipment. We're gonna start tackling these projects. This is what we had to set a manhole. There was not a manhole here in order for us to access this pipe to clean it. This is off Springfield. We had to build our own manhole to cover this pipe. That's after we set it, and that's the city's new concrete mixer we use to fill in the base of the manhole. That's as we're covering it up. We've got it sealed up. That's what the inside looks like now. I don't have the final picture because we had to wait for the concrete to get hard. But basically what that is a straddle manhole. And once the concrete got hard, we cut the top of that pipe out. So when you look inside of it, it looks just like a normal manhole. And now we can access that main and clean it properly, because there's a house on Leon that kept having problems, and we really couldn't access the main to clean it properly. So this is the first step in the repair. Hopefully that will solve the problem. This is what, we're gonna be doing a lot more of these projects coming up.
Very good.
And like it was like 800 pounds or a little more concrete to finish that. For that concrete mixture, we had to mix it in a bucket on a wheelbarrow, so that's about the best piece of equipment we bought so far. That last picture of the guys cleaning off the road, just clean up the mess we made. We try
because of the equipment we have, when we get through the road, we try to rinse it down, get all the dirt and stuff off, make it look good. I know we don't really have the funds for like sod. But we do, depending on where it's at, impact to the environment or runoff, we do hay and seed places where we excavate, so, the city does have some street signage for closing roads. My department itself doesn't have, we don't have our own, we have to borrow from Danielle. So I would like to get some of my own signage for some of these road closures to put up proper detours, but, that's, we'll get to that when we get there, but this is just to show you what we've been doing, and this is gonna it's gonna be more of these in the pipeline, so.
Good job.
Good, things are getting better.
Great job.
Appreciate it. See, Garrett's not here. Okay, Ms. Landry. Anything you want to bring up? I'm good. Sunita? Mr. Bruins? Nope. I thank everybody for coming tonight and have a good evening. Good right one this time.
About 30 minutes long.